Um, what is your name and
So,
what is your relationship to the Oval?
I'm Eusebio Baez. My relationship to Oval is I was one of the locals who helped design the park,
The skate park.
the skate park.
And what was here but prior to this being like a skate park?
Uh, when I can remember, it was just nothing. It was just open court, like just an open. Like there was really nothing here. People used to play volleyball here once in a while, like tag, but it was nothing really here. It was fenced in, just like that spot over there, but there was nothing over here.
It was your idea for to have a skate park created. What was
Well,
that
it
story?
wasn't my idea. It was this guy named Doug. So we used to always skate on the opposite side of the park where people jogged and walked their dogs, and the neighbors used to get upset because they can hear the boards all the time. So Doug, who was like a local advocate for the community, pitched it to the board, and then he got all of the skaters involved. So we had about like three different meetings where we shared ideas. Obviously, the first meeting there was a lot of people who showed up. The second meeting, every meeting, there was less and less of people who showed up. So me, I mean, Ani, James, and and Richard were the ones that ended up sticking it through and designing the whole skateboard.
Can you talk about your experience with design and the construction of the skate park?
So my experience, honestly, was I had no prior experience. I've just been a skateboarder for almost my whole life. And the only experience I ever had was 20 odd pro skater building your own skate park. So when I was younger, I used to like draw skate parks. So it was just a collective thing where all me and my friends, uh, we had the opportunity to actually design a skate park. And we just put all our ideas together, which is pretty cool because we all had different backgrounds of skateboarding. So it was just a lot of different ideas put in together, which was pretty sick.
And then how did the 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 design evolve once the reality of the skate park being built? How did that
So
just
it was pretty cool because the first meeting that we had, obviously everyone, it was a bunch, like I think about 30 people. We all had ideas. They emailed us back. The second meeting we came in and we actually drew stuff. So by the third meeting, from what I can remember, was they had renders of what our ideas were, and we're like, wait, time out. This is really cool because we never really thought that our ideas would be actually put into consideration. So so we had these three renders on a sheet of paper on the board, and they told us to pick the best one. So we actually picked the best one, and then they gave us like a transparent piece of paper that we laid on top of it, and we just made like what you call it, like adjustments. And, yeah, and then we was able to actually pick what we wanted. And the the meeting after that, it was literally everything that we wanted in the skate park was on that sheet of paper, on that blueprint, and pretty cool.
and so what happened when they actually started building the skate park and like when it becoming a reality? Then your experience changed.
Yeah, so uh, also, Steve Rodriguez had a huge part in this because he's like the mayor of skate parks in New York City.
Yeah.
So yes, we implemented our ideas, but they contact him for I guess like a bigger perspective on it, and he added a little bit of stuff in it. But at the end of the day, it was like all our collective ideas came together. When the skate park was being built, it was very exciting because it was like something we actually designed being made, especially in our neighborhood. But throughout the process, we kept seeing that not only was it delayed, but they were building the obstacles the wrong way, which was very disencouraging. So I took it upon myself. I came here one day. I spoke to the manager of the site. He gave me his phone number, and we used to text each other and speak through emails. And what sucked was that the contractor that they contracted for this uh, not, had no prior experience building skate parks. so they really didn't know what they were doing. Where I was getting emails on like what kind of material I should use, like for example, like what kind of concrete, which I just told them that I don't know, but whatever concrete has to be polished.
Talk to Steve
Yeah.
Rodriguez, right?
So or speak to Steve, but
Yeah.
so it got to the point where they built the skate park and a lot of features were built incorrect, where they had to take it down. I remember one time they laid down the concrete, and the same day it rained, and they didn't cover it. So the next day it was completely flooded. So they had to basically, uh, I don't know what the term is, but just break it down and start all over. And then we see it being built again, and we're like super stoked on it again. And then we noticed that every hubba, which is a down leg, had a kink at the bottom. So it was a lot of back and forth. Then it became a thing where I got really annoyed, and I started talking to Steve, and Steve couldn't believe what was going on because we were both like in disbelief this is actually going on. Um, so yeah, so that's basically what happened. They finally built it, super rushed, and you can tell it was super rushed because nothing makes sense. All when it comes to all of this physics, if you're not a skateboarder, you're not gonna understand. But like, you can't make obstacles short and steep at the same time. You have to pick one. It's either gonna be short and mellow, or it's gonna be steep and big. Uh, also, so it's just a lot of things like that. The park only been open for about 3 years, I believe, and it's already breaking down. So it's like really unfortunate that. And if it rains right now, it's completely flooded. Like you can't skate it. It's like the drainage system here is not good. They did not build it the way it was supposed to. It's like the water doesn't just go to where the drain is. So it's kind of sucks.
I mean, what is there a lesson to be learned from your experience?
Um, I a lesson from myself, not really, because like I said, it's not like I got paid. I volunteered to help and give my site, but I feel like the lesson to the I guess the community board, whoever's in charge of this, it's like, hey, if you're gonna invest in a project, you want to make sure the contractors that are in charge of making this project come to life are experienced in that field. You're not gonna just have someone who builds pools build a tennis court, or someone who builds tennis courts build a football field. Skate parks should be built by contractors that have experience in this, just so you can save a lot of money because a lot of money was wasted here that could have been implemented in other sources in the community.
And then by that time, they're already behind schedule because they have to reconcrete it, and now they're really against the fence, so that they're even rushing more
Yeah.
than before.
And then I even contacted the architect. I forgot her name, and I was sending her pictures. But at that point, it was like they were so delayed that they just wanted to get it over with, opposed to doing it the right way. And it just shows that people who actually skate don't really come here.
Mhm.
It's a bummer because it's beautiful, it's big, it has so much potential where they can host events here, contests and stuff like that. But people don't want to do it because everything is just made incorrectly to the point where you can get hurt. And it's safety first, right? And yeah.
So, despite your grievances, how does it feel to be able to have like something that there was an idea and to have it realized? How does that make you feel now?
Like I said, like I feel like the intentions were correct, just the execution wasn't good. Obviously, I'm not like what is it bashing anyone or anything. It still happened. It didn't happen the way I wanted or everyone else wanted, ideally. So
Maybe if they didn't get the lowest contractor and
yeah, it's
hired
like
somebody that knew about concrete.
yeah, this out of let me see, this Brooklyn Skate Park and Neck. There's River Ave Skate Park on 157. River Ave. You have Allerton Skate Park, Playground 52, and the new one at St. Anne's. And they were all was built by skate park, all in Van Cortlandt. They were all built by skate park contractors. It's something that we can actually do. And even Van Cortlandt, was actually supposed to be built before the skate park, but their contractor bailed out and filed for bankrupt, and they were still able to get a contractor 2 years later, which is one of and the contractor they use is actually the best contractor in the country to build skate parks. And those same people are building the Orchard skate park, the Orchard Beach skate park. So it's something that's feasible. It's not something that's a big reach, you know. Um, hopefully, I have high hopes for the skate park, and I feel like it could be fixed. You know, if we can get the right fundings to actually make this place something, a place where people want to come back to, then that'd be awesome.
How often do you come to them?
Uh, I used to come here a lot until Vancouver opened up. Like Onyx the only option around here, and I rather skate and not skate. But since Vancouver opened up, I go there way more often. But it does feel good to have something in the Bronx, in your local neighborhood that you actually helped, you contributed, and made it happen.
And besides just the skate park, what is your favorite part about the Oval or Williamsbridge Oval or about this park in general?
Favorite part of this park? That's hard. This park has everything. You have really good tennis courts. I actually grew up playing tennis before I skateboarded competitively. I'm a big dog person, so it's so cool to see how many type of dog breeds there are that like the park actually brings. And the people, man, the people here are awesome. You know, you have people from all over, all different backgrounds, and they all come to this park to to have fun. Whatever happens outside the park leaves once you enter the park. You know, because it's a beautiful park. This is a gem to have in the neighborhood at the end of the day.
And you grew up in the neighborhood?
So I grew up on Kingsbridge, which is not that far from here. But I did go to PS8, which is not that far. It's right there on Bainbridge. And I did kindergarten and first grade there until I moved to Kingsbridge when I was living right there on Bainbridge.
And how important are public spaces like the Williamsbridge Oval to the community?
Yeah, they're very important. Like I said before, like once you enter this park, whatever is happening outside this park, you forget about it. You know, you let go. This is very therapeutic. You know, and it's a lot of people from different backgrounds. Like I said prior, which you know, sometimes when you're out here, you might think about other like things that are happening in the community, racial profiling, or this and that. But when you come out here, everyone's here for a good time. All that gets left behind the park. It's like a sanctuary, you know.
And why do you love the Bronx?
Why do I love the Bronx? uh, there's no place like the Bronx. Hip hop originated in the Bronx. Breakdancing originated in the Bronx. You know, like how big is hip hop now? You know, not only hip hop, but you want to think about it. Like look at Ralph Lauren. Went to Clinton High School, which is maybe about 2 miles away from Oval
Calvin
Park.
Klein.
You know, Calvin Klein. You have all that stuff. So there's a lot of inspiration that comes from the Bronx, and I feel like the Bronx has a real embedded culture where it's implemented all over the world right now.
Those are really all the questions I have.
Oh,